Mate, it's been so long since the Cowboys have beaten the Storm. Can you just give me something? Can you give me just anything, please, Matt? Please? Howdy, everyone. It's Sam. I hope you're all doing really well. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. This week, North Queensland hosting Melbourne in arguably the game of the round. In my opinion, it's the biggest home game in Cowboys history. Well, since 2018 anyway, since Jonathan Thurston retired. And to help me preview this massive game is my mate. His name is Matthew. You might have seen him on the channel before when the NFL season was on last year. Matt, how you going, man? Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, mate. Can hear you loud and clear. I'm going very well.
Good, dude. Good. So to the uninitiated, bro, can you tell us about why Melbourne Storm was the team that you started to go for, mate?
It's a long story.
I've got time.
So we went to the 99 grand final and everyone in my family were Dragons supporters. And they were starting to annoy me that day. So I said, well, stuff you. I'm going to go for the other team. Just so happened to be the Melbourne Storm. And they won that day and I haven't changed since.
Do you have any, besides that moment, do you have any memories of the actual game that took place, mate?
I remember the penalty try because that happened right in front of where we were sitting.
Oh, wow. So you were like down on like sort of ground level, were you?
Yeah, we were about 4 rows back.
That's insane, bro. And like, so were you there for when the trophy celebrations occurred when Melbourne won?
Yes. I remember Glenn Lazarus lifting the trophy, running around the field. He was a wonderful player, wasn't he?
Look, a bit before I was sort of with it, but yeah, he was, man, definitely. And just have you been to any other grand finals as well, mate?
I've been to 4 grand finals now. Won 2, lost 2.
What were they, man?
So 99, 06, 07, and 2018.
Wow. Okay, so you were there for the Manly Sea Eagles 40-0, were you?
No. So I was there
06, 07.
06, 07, and then 2018.
True, man.
No Manly. So in 06, we lost to the Broncos. 07, we beat Manly. And then 2018, which I don't like to speak about.
Yeah. What was your reaction to that, mate? Because I remember in the 2018 GF, Billy Slater somehow got off, and when he played in that grand final, every time he touched the ball, boos every time he touched the ball.
Absolutely. Boos were coming everywhere from the Roosters.
What was the atmosphere like, man? And how are you feeling, bro?
I was pretty pissed off that was Billy Slater's last game and the team produced that performance. But second of all, I felt that was pretty disrespectful towards Billy as well. from the Roosters supporters.
And dude, best players, mate. Who are some of your favourite players that have ever been, man, for the Melbourne Storm?
As you've known me for a long time, Sam, you know how much I love Billy Slater.
Yeah.
I'd probably say my top 5 would be Billy Slater, Greg Inglis, Josh Adokar, Brett Kamali, and Glenn Lazarus.
Do you remember when we went to that Raiders Storm game where Sia Soliola poleaxed Billy Slater, mate?
I think he did a bit more than poleaxe him, but yes, I do remember that night. That was a good night. That was a cold night. But mate, I remember you and I heard it sitting on the other side of the ground, and I still to this day do not forget the sound of that crack.
I don't either, and you beat me to it, man. I remember not only the slap of skin, but I remember how hard Billy's back of the head slapped onto the turf as well.
Yeah.
And when the stretcher came out, no, not at all, man. And when the stretchers came out, like, of course it got real, but it was, oh my God, this is on Billy Slater. This is insane.
Yeah.
And somehow Sia Soliola didn't get sent as well. And for the next maybe 20 minutes of that game, it was a really intense game, man. But the Melbourne Storm ended up winning it very well, bro. And Matt, man, besides the 2 grand finals that you attended where the Melbourne Storm won, what are some notable Melbourne Storm games that you've attended that rank up highly as far as game days that you've attended, bro?
Probably the ones I've been to up here in Canberra. Being from Canberra, I obviously don't get much of an opportunity to go and see the Storm. The last couple of years I've only had the opportunity to go once. Yep. And this year I was really looking forward to the opportunity, but they took it out to Mudgee.
No, Wagga Wagga, mate. Wagga.
Wagga, sorry. Wagga.
And have you been down to Melbourne, mate?
I have once. I went again in 2018. That was Billy Slater's last regular season home match against the Panthers, and we got beat that night.
And that was a close game, was it? Like Panthers scored.
That was probably the most intense of all the Storm games I've ever been to.
Yo.
And, anyone who has been to a game at Amy Park would probably attest to this, that 15 or 20,000 at Amy Park sounds like 150 or 200,000 people.
I've been down to Amy Park once, and it was in 2015. It wasn't for the preliminary final. I went to Amy Park for round 24 for my birthday to go see the Cowboys play the Storm, and it just was such a cold, rainy night down there in the Purple State, mate. And yeah, dude, just I think the Cowboys lost 14 points to 6 or something like that. So she was a tough old slog of a contest, but Amy Park as a venue itself, man, is sensational.
Yeah, it's great.
It's sensational, man. So without further ado, bro, let's get stuck into it. Let's get stuck into proceedings, bro. This Saturday evening from 5:30 p.m., it is the North Queensland Cowboys hosting the Melbourne Storm. It is second versus third. Oh my God, man. This is
bring it on, mate.
It is such an intense weekend for you and I, man, because you and I have been almost every time Cowboys and Storm have played. We've met up, we've had some beers, we've been to the pub, we've gone to one another's houses, sort of thing. It's been pain for me every single freaking time. It's been painful for me
I
every
was
single
gonna say,
time.
mate, when was the last time you won?
Haven't beaten Melbourne Storm. Cowboys have not beaten Melbourne Storm since the 2015 preliminary final. So, bro, if you could just give us a little bit of something, mate. I'm thirsty here. It's as dry as a desert out my freaking way, mate. But
Look,
bro, yes.
look, mate, I'm sure we could spare you one day, but it won't be anytime soon.
Oh, we'll make it our day. We'll make it our day this weekend, mate. But if you can please take us through the lineup, bro. I hope you can see it. If you can please take us through the lineup, mate.
Okay, so in look, the top left corner, mate, is a little bit cut off. So I'm gonna have to start. Number 3 is Marion Sevo.
Well, before you go on, Matt, it's Tyron Wishart and Nick Meaney, 1 and 2.
Okay, no worries. Tyrone Wishart has probably, he's had a couple of good games that I've seen or paid attention to. His father was in the bloody Dragons side in '99, if I remember rightly, as well. Rod Wishart. Yeah, sorry, mate. I really can't add much more there.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. Go through the
All
list,
right,
man. Go
so
through the list.
the centres, we got Marion Seve and Justin Olam. Justin Olam has obviously been one of our top 3 or top 4 players, along with Xavier Coates. 6, we got Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes in 7. Just been a fantastic pairing for us. 8, we got Jesse Bromwich. 9, Harry Grant. What more can I say about him? 10 is Brandon Smith. 11 is Felice Kafusi. 12 is Kenny Bromwich. And to round out the starting side in 13, we got Josh King.
And then can you take us through the interchange there, mate, on the right-hand side?
All right. 14, we've got Alec McDonald. 15, Dean Jeremiah. 16 is Trent Lorero. 17 is Tui Kamira. 18 is Chris Lewis. 19, Matty Johns' son, Cooper, better than his father. 20, we have Tom Eisenhuth. 21st, we have Jordan Grant. 22nd, Bronson Garlick. 23rd, Will Warbrick. And 24th, we have Jaden Nikarima.
Thank you very much, bro. Now, moving into my side, North Queensland Cowboys. Scott Drinkwater is in at fullback. Our wingers are Kyle Felton, Mario Taulagi. Holmes and Hiku are the centre pairing for the North Queensland Cowboys. And then our halves combination is Chad Townsend and Tom Dearden. Our forward pack, Jordan McLean, Ruben Cotter, and Reece Robson. Our back line is Tom Gilbert, Jeremiah Nanai, and Jason Taumalolo. Interchange bench, Hamiso Tabuai Fado, Hylam Lukey, Cohen Hess, and Griffin Neem. And 18th man is Jermaine Tonua Brown. And look, I don't go through reserve lists often, mate, but just it really does pay to go through reserve lists. Just on a completely different subject, just for 10 seconds. I can't believe that Brenton Aiden decided to leave Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs this afternoon. And then at 4 p.m., the West Tigers by then signed him up and then chucked him into the reserves list. And I did my tipping video that you all can see now. It's all available for you. It just went completely over my head, man. So it does pay to read the reserve list, but there's nothing out of the ordinary for either side there, man. Matt, I'll bring up your Melbourne Storm just one more time, man. But before I do, I want to ask you, Jerome Hughes. Jerome Hughes is under an injury cloud. It might be a bit of mind games by Craig Bellamy and the Melbourne Storm. What's your gut feeling on Jerome Hughes on whether or not he'll play this weekend?
Look, I think I think he will play. Personally, I think after last week's performance, we could do with a full strength side. If I was Craig Bellamy, I would honestly be willing to risk the injury this week, as controversial as that might be.
Wow.
But we need our halves pairing because they were a bit lacking direction last week, from what I could see.
Yep.
Our team last week was just woeful.
Right. And dude, what about the former Cameron Munster, mate? Do you think he's in it with a shot for the Dally M medal by the end of the year?
Yes, absolutely. Cameron Munster has been fantastic for us. He's been he's been one of our best players, probably easily the last 5 years. Consistently been up there, and then I also think Ryan Pappenhausen could be up there in the voting, arguably as well.
Well, he's not back for another 4 weeks, so it's seriously going to dent his chances of becoming Dally M medalist for this season. But I'm sure he can make up the numbers. If there's any player that's in good enough form to make up the numbers, it's going to be that bloke. So just to go off SS Storm fans, comment there. Brandon Smith in at number 10. I think this is also a bit of mind games from Craig Bellamy, man, because Brandon Smith and Ruben Cotter for the Cowboys, they're not too dissimilar. They're both sort of hooker locks. And it's really the first time that we've ever seen Brandon Smith in a jersey number 10. So I think that's, I don't want to say disrespect, but it's a bit of a shot across the bow, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, look, I think that's a brave choice. I think that's a brave choice to play him out of position.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And it puts more. Now, what's your interchange bench like? Alec McDonald. I'm not too sure who Alec McDonald is, if I'm being fair dinkum with you. Dean Eremaya, who's more of a centre player, is coming off the bench, and Trent Loero and Tui Kamikamika. Those are your forward rotations there. I think Alec McDonald is a forward player as well. But to have Dean Eremaya, of all players, out there on the interchange bench. Good player. He did a couple of good things over the past couple of weeks. But Dean Eremaya to come off the bench, mate. Who's that? Who's he going to be replacing, I wonder? I'll bring up the Melbourne Storm lineup again. Meaney, Marion Seve, Justin Nolan, Coates. None of them are going to need a bloody breather sort of thing.
No.
So maybe.
Yeah, look, I'm not
100%
sure either, mate. To be brutally honest, I don't know where you'd put him.
Like maybe Craig Bellamy is thinking we're going to play an 80-minute performance for Harry Grant, and Brandon Smith may only, if he rips and tears, and he always does, as much of a, excuse me French, as much of a smart ass as Brandon Smith is, he arguably digs in as hard as anybody else in the competition. He is so hard and so hard to stop, and he's so good to watch, man. But just his off-field stuff doesn't tickle me the right way. So yeah, that's a really queer lineup, man, and it's one that we can't take lightly.
No, not at all. I don't think you can ever truly write the Storm off. I think the Storm are that sort of team that, you can never write them off until the fat lady's well and truly sung and done the encore.
Yeah.
We are the only team that seems to be able to play for 80 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair, man. That's fair. Matt, we did touch on Tyron Wishart 5 minutes ago, and you saw his performance last week. Are you happy with the call to keep with him at fullback, or would you have changed things up a bit?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I think sometimes to get better, you got to get given another go.
Yep.
And get the experience under your belt. He's a rookie, he's inexperienced. He's going to make mistakes, like everyone.
Yep. Sort
So,
of like a Tyrell Sloan.
Yeah. Look, I'm okay with it because he has put in some good performances for us.
And just before I go on any further, Matt, I just want to say, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for tuning in. We got Mr. Warriors NRL Fanatics. How you going, man? And check this out, bro. He's going to go for the upset. He's going to go for the upset this weekend. That's it. That's it.
No, you must not.
And Jacko here kind of think Panthers play for 80 minutes. I mean, they do. Mr. Faraz, hey, man, how you going? Please go and check out the Final Siren podcast as well. It features Faraz Alam. And what are you doing? What's up, Ali Ahmed? Thank you very much all for tuning in. And please like, subscribe, and share around, and and all that good stuff. So I'm going to move into the North Queensland Cowboys now. Well, they're unchanged after last week. There is injury concern with Peter Hiku, who didn't complete the game last week, but I think he's going to be okay. Jason Taumalolo, Mr. Matt, he only played half an hour last week. He is going to be fired out of a cannon this Saturday afternoon, bro. Is he your main? If you're the Melbourne Storm coach, or if you're a Melbourne Storm player, out of that North Queensland Cowboys lineup, is he your biggest concern? And if not, and otherwise, can you give us a second runner-up, mate? Can you give us a runner-up concern?
Mate, Jason Taumalolo worries me every time he laces up the boots because he's just that kind of player. He can come out of nowhere, and he's just brilliant. He's certainly the best player on your team. Now, a runner-up for me would be Val Holmes. Again, no matter who he's playing for, when he was playing for the Sharks, I was concerned. When he was playing in the NFL, I was concerned. And then now he's at the Cowboys. And Sam, my memory isn't that great, but was it 3 or 4 weeks ago you and I went to the Cowboys and Raiders?
That's right.
Val Holmes, for me, was quite possibly your best player on the field that night.
Yep.
Maybe Taumalolo as well. You've got some really impressive players in your team, mate. Chad Townsend's another one. Tabuai Fido is another one who I thought was really good as well. I honestly, mate, I have been quite impressed by the Cowboys this year. I think you're punching well above expectation.
Yep.
I honestly didn't have you guys in my top 8. Sorry to stab you in the face, but I didn't have you in the top 8, if I'm brutally honest.
Yep.
But I'm pleasantly surprised that the Cowboys are doing so well.
I'll send an email to North Queensland, mate, with your name attached to it, saying, "Look at this, Matt. Look at this Matt bloke," and send a missile on his house. Dude, when we attended that, well, look, they haven't lost a game since they won that game down there in Canberra. And Raiders, they fell away. They faded awfully in that contest. But something happened in in those halftime sheds down there at GRO Stadium that night. And it's worked out perfectly for him.
Yeah,
Dude,
there was definitely something your coach put in the drinks at halftime.
They were very calm. I think that was the first time that Chad Townsend and the rest of the Cowboys sort of united and were calm about the situation that they were in. And as you and I have already spoken about at length, that it was only 12-0 at halftime, so it showed great patience and composure to get back into the game. And they've just sort of evolved from that point onwards, I reckon. Matt, bro, and this is with all due respect, man, like, fuck you. No, I'm joking. Excuse my language. No. No, I think this is the game that Cowboys have been building towards to all off season. I think with all the stories and reports about them defending every single day, getting the shoulders stuck in and everything, and considering the way we both know what happened in that last game last year, bro, that game that won't be touched about right now because the referees were absolutely atrocious in that contest. Dude, I think this is the game that they've been building to the entire year with great purpose, and it's not going to happen by accident. I think they have a game plan. I think Brandon Smith in at jersey number 10 is sort of not an offensive move from Craig Bellamy as the coach. I think it's more of a defensive tactic from him, if that makes sense. I hope it does.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys are going to ambush them this Saturday night, bro. Again, you still can't take him lightly, but Ryan Pappenhausen, man, for you blokes, has been, I think it's already sort of solidified that he is your attacking linchpin. I know Cameron Munster does put in the oft chip kick for his wingers sometimes. He's really on the spot with those and really great with his reaction times. Cameron Munster to put his wingers over in for the line. But bro, I think Ryan Pappenhausen is just in his absence now for the past week or so now. I think it's kind of shown that he is not only is he that damn good, but he really is the reason why you guys have been absolutely flogging clubs this year.
Yeah, he's definitely been the cement in the brick wall, mate. He's just the last couple of seasons he has just stepped up and made that fullback position his own. Which I was a bit concerned whether or not someone would be able to do that after Billy Slater. But man, this Pappenhausen kid has just come out. He came out of nowhere.
He did,
and he just came out of nowhere and has played like that ever since. And he's been bagging the tries for us, helping to steer the team round, setting up tries, scoring them, making last-ditch tackles that perhaps even Billy Slater never could. There's nothing he can't do.
I agree, mate. I agree. Like, even before this season, I thought Melbourne Storm, they might have a problem, like, with all the points they might score, like converting those goal kicks. Ryan Pappenhausen, man, he wasn't all that crash hot last year and maybe the year before. But this season, man, it's just going over the black dot for Ryan Pappenhausen, man. Everything he is touching and creating, turning into absolute gold, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I must say, as a Storm fan, it's kind of hard not to comment on the performance against the Warriors the other week. But that, even for me, just came out of nowhere. Like, who puts on 60 points in the second half? It just goes to show that you can't afford to make mistakes against the Storm, against the Panthers. Potentially even can't afford to make mistakes against Brisbane this season with Adam Reynolds. It's you've just got to be in the game.
You do, man. No, you do, and it's still like the Warriors were in that game for 45 minutes, weren't they? He was.
I would have said 30 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah,
I would have possibly even said 30 minutes. The Warriors were in that game.
Yeah, no, fair enough, man. No worries. But yeah, dude, like there are a couple of people commenting in the chat now, Hughes is a massive in for the Storm. Maybe I was underrating Hughes. I'm not underrating Hughes at all, man. I wish he was still up at the Cowboys because he was once a Cowboy. And look, man, when I started hearing rumors and that he had done his calf and he might be out for a few weeks, I did give I don't wish no injuries on any friggin' player, but I did give like a little fist up in the air, sort of like Jerome Hughes is going to be out. Wow, that's going to be a massive out. Speaking of outs, Nelson Asafa Solomona, that friggin' walking man mountain, is not going to be playing this Saturday night.
No, that's going to be another big loss for us.
That's a massive loss.
Yeah, that's just huge. He again, he has just had a blinder of a season for us too.
Yeah, he has.
Really big impact player. He always has been. All 6'8" and 300 tons of him. He's just massive in every sense of the word.
Can I? And this isn't necessarily my opinion, but there are suggestions that Jesse Bromwich has not quite been. He's still a great leader and has been and continues to be, but just as far as making meters and being the line bender, he hasn't quite been as impactful as recent seasons. And it's Nelson Asafa Solomona that has stepped up and been that line bender and breaker as well. What are your thoughts on that, mate? Do you think Jesse Bromwich has been a little bit just a fraction off this year so far as meters gained and the like, or do you think do you think that's a bit of codswallop?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that Jesse Bromwich hasn't particularly been as good for us this year as he has been in the recent past. I think he needs to step up a little bit. He's a great player, and he's a ripper bloke. But he just needs to step up a little bit for us, especially now that Asafa Solomon is gone. He just needs to step up a bit. He hasn't been bad. He's just been a bit patchy for me.
That's okay. No worries. No, that makes sense. And without Nelson Asafa Solomona, it's going to be Brandon Smith in that jersey number 10 that takes the role. And Brandon Smith just doesn't give a bugger what's in front of him. He'll run through a bloody barbed wire brick wall to make meters with his side. So, he's going to. Oh, and you just beat me to it, Luke, Melbourne Storm fan. Xavier Coates, bro. I don't think we've seen the best of Coates yet. He's still so incredibly young, but he has done some wonderful things for the Melbourne Storm. And again, Xavier Coates, what have you made of his season so far, Matt?
He's been fantastic. He's been perhaps even a surprise packet in my book.
Yeah.
I agree there, bro. He's Xavier Coates. We're really, really happy with him. He's just been fantastic. But in saying that to me says a lot about Craig Bellamy as a coach and as a person, because he can take players that weren't perhaps particularly well behaved or particularly great at other clubs, and he can turn them into superstars.
Yep.
And fine young men.
And you look at Nick Meaney, man, from the Bulldogs, who's come down from the Bulldogs. Gee whiz, isn't Nick Meaney? He left the freaking Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Nick Meaney, bro, I've always liked him. He's just been playing in a very, very ordinary club for the past couple of seasons. And he's another player that is flourishing down there in Melbourne under Craig Bellamy, bro. And I'm going to ask you the question now, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, bro. So this is a question without notice. Would you take Craig and try and take bias out of it? And I know you would. Craig Bellamy or Wayne Bennett? If you were the Redcliffe Dolphins, or if you were the 18th team coming into the competition in X amount of years, would you sign up Craig Bellamy or Wayne Bennett?
I mean,
Sorry.
yeah. I mean, wow. Like that's that. I mean, that's tough, isn't it?
No wrong answers, man.
Um. Yeah. I mean, those are, of all the coaches in history, I say that there's three coaches that don't need to be introduced: Jack Gibson, Craig Bellamy, and Wayne Bennett.
Yep. Yep.
So,
The reason why I'm asking, man, is like Craig Bellamy, bro. If I was the 18th side, or if I was Redcliffe and I had the option of either Wayne Bennett or Craig Bellamy, I would go towards Craig Bellamy. I don't think it's not to say that he's necessarily better than Bennett, but like it's just the culture that he has created down there at the Melbourne Storm.
yeah,
It's unparalleled, man. It's
Sam,
unparalleled, right?
that leads into a question. I'm going to return serve here, mate. Um, it's not to say that the Melbourne Storm are perfect, but when was the last time you heard about a Melbourne Storm player having off-field dramas?
Oh, bro, I've got to hit you back with a massive 200 kilometer an hour uh, splice, mate. It's not a conversation I really want to go deep into, but the Melbourne Storm. This is my whole point, that the off season for the Melbourne Storm uh, has been the worst that I've seen for the Melbourne Storm. You had Cameron Munster and Brandon Smith in that sugar packet
Hotel room.
scandal in the hotel room, and you had Brandon Smith with all the confusion about him, whether or not he's going to go to the Dolphins or ultimately being the eastern suburbs. You had Tui Kamikamika as well. This club for that off season was it was the most tumultuous off season that I can remember, or anyone can remember, for the Melbourne Storm. And the reason, it's sort of like a nice sort of an evolution from it. Craig Bellamy, the culture that he has set since day one, since he's taken over at the Melbourne Storm, it's unparalleled. It may be broken in cases of Munster and Kamikamika sort of thing, but everybody still puts that beneath them, and they have a focus on the job at hand. And he's relentless, Bellamy. But then you get interviews by Pappenhausen or the like, and they say, "What's Bellamy like?" He's actually a really nice guy. He just wants the best for everybody and for the city of Melbourne, and he has gotten that. People are, some can say, are completely jealous of it. Uh, I know that I know that their wrestling tactics in the past have really, really, really grinded my gears. But man, I mean, it is half a case of people hating the player, not the game, sort of thing. If that makes sense, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally cop a lot of flack for supporting the Melbourne Storm. And I would be sure that there would be other Storm fans out there that would say the same, that they get people saying you only support the Storm because they win all the time. Well, Sam, as you know, I've supported the Melbourne Storm for this is my 23rd season as a Melbourne Storm supporter.
Yep.
And I have supported them through grand final wins. I've supported them through wooden spoons. I supported them through 2010.
Yeah.
And if any year, if there was any year that I was ever going to change my allegiances in the NRL, 2010 was very nearly that year. But I stuck by it.
Yeah.
Because they pulled through and I gained belief in the team again. And boy, were we rewarded in 2012 for sticking by them.
Yeah, you've been rewarded since 2011. Really, I mean, you hit straight back with the 2011 preliminary final, and then you've gone on to win a couple more comps since then, man. And for us, man, I mean, hopefully this is what you're referring to, but it is. It's amazing, man, what the Melbourne Storm, a club from Victoria, has done in the National Rugby League, man. And some people are jealous of it. Some people do have a right to hate Melbourne Storm for sort of bringing it, well, not sort of, for bringing in wrestling tactics and the like. But yeah, I mean, hate the game, not the player, or sort of thing, you know. Anyway. So I didn't mean to take up a lot of your time, mate. I've just realised how long we've gone for, so we'll start to wrap things up, mate. Thank you so much. I was just talking some smack with you, mate. But that's what it's all about. So
two good mates talking smack, aren't we?
Just talking smack, man, for sure. Matt, bro, for the Cowboys to win, we need to keep up with our completions. We are completing at an average of 85% throughout the entire season. What the hell? It's been a roller coaster. It's been a wonderful roller coaster for the Cowboys. But these two sides are in the top 5 or bottom 5 in conceding penalties. These sides concede a lot of penalties, and
yes,
the team to be disciplined enough to take the game by the scruff of the neck and be really resilient in defense. It's going to be a defensive style game, man, but there's going to be patches of attacking brilliance from the likes of Munster and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. The kicking game between Townsend and Jerome Hughes, if Jerome Hughes does play, is going to be so exciting and intriguing and interesting to see. It's dare I say, it's a blockbuster between Cowboys and the Storm, mate. I mean, besides the 2017 GF, who'd be saying that about a friggin' Cowboys Storm game? A blockbuster this Saturday afternoon. So I'm going to say,
absolutely.
I'm going to back my team. Obviously, I think the Cowboys can win this one by, I think there'll be maybe 2 tries apiece, but I think Cowboys will get that 3rd try. And I think they'll win something to the tune of 16 points to 12 this Saturday afternoon with, and I want an anytime try scorer from you if you don't mind, mate. I think I'm going to go with Kyle Felt as an anytime try scorer. I think they're taking on Marion Seve's wing. I might be wrong about that. No, I think it's Valentine Holmes, but in any event, I'm going to go Kyle Felt as an anytime try scorer.
Okay, so naturally, I'm going to go the Storm for the win. I think where we can be dangerous this coming week is, last week's performance hurt. It hurt us. It hurt me as a fan. I think we can come back from it.
Yeah.
Do I think we're going to blow you off the park? Probably not. I think we could probably win 24-16.
A 24-16 scoreline?
Anytime, 24-16. And for my anytime try scorer, I'm going to go with Xavier Coates.
And that, Xavier Coates versus, I think it's Murray Tuolungi this weekend. That's going to be a good one to watch. And just one more thing as well, right? So this is just another stat. Since the 2017 grand final, the Cowboys and the Storm have played each other 6 times. On 4 of the past 6 occasions, it has been decided by 8 points or less. And one of those two 13-plus point losses to the Cowboys was a game out there at the Sunshine Coast Stadium where the Cowboys actually scored first and they were in the contest for a little bit. So since the 2017 GF, I know Cowboys have not beaten them since 2015, but since the 2017 GF, 4 of the past 6 encounters between the clubs since then have resulted in margins being 8 points or less. And considering what happened last year up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, the drama, I don't think I can't remember being more angry and emotionally distraught after a Cowboys game, bro. That result, the effort, and I feel some of the disrespect and the bad decisions from all involved was just crushing, man. It was infuriating. I've been waiting for the rematch all year now, man, and it's come. It's here. This is the 2 points I want more than anything else, man, because I'll turn to you this weekend when we're at the pub or when we're here or wherever, and I'll go, we finally beat you, Matt, and then you'll probably go, yeah, once in how long? Yeah, well, I'll still take it. So I'm so looking forward to this game because it's going to, we're going to find out what the Cowboys are all about. I know they took on Roosters earlier this season, but they've taken on the Roosters and that was their reality check. They know where they sort of stood. And so now they've learned from that. They have clearly evolved from that loss, and they're going to be a different beast this weekend. So, Matt, bro, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in and is continuously tuning in right now. I've really enjoyed it. If you want to see Matt more on the channel often, please leave some comments and please leave a thumbs up and a like. For sure, man. For sure. Let us know. Come on, Melbourne, Faraz. Oh, get out of here.
Yes, buddy. Yes, Faraz. That's fantastic, mate. You need to spam that comment.
No spam. Matt, bro. Jacko here.
Yes.
No.
Everyone keep trolling him. Him.
No, we don't want bloody trolls in the chat. No, we don't want trolls in the chat, mate. Anyway, we're going to get out of here now because it's bloody dinner time. I'm starving. I'm sure you are too, Matt. Bro, Matt, look, it's sort of hard. Like, I can't really say, what are you doing with yourself, Instagram or YouTube or whatever, because I don't think you have any of that, mate. But look, you're always going to be welcome here, and people out there Faraz, please expect to see Matt more around here more often. So no, thank you very much, Matt, for joining us tonight, man.
Mate, you're very welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome, guys. Anyways, have a good weekend, everybody. Adios.
Go the Storm.